everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me for a new Tuesday tip. So during the month of January 2022, we've been doing some fancy folding. Actually, not necessarily fancy folded cards. We're going to get fancy with paper. So today we're going to be learning how to do a dahlia flower. And this is so fun. It's done with circle punches or dies, whichever you have. And with a little fun little origami fold, we're going to create a gorgeous card. Guys, it's an easy card to make. I'm excited to teach you how. So let's get started. I absolutely love this dahlia fold. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at the great dimension on that card. This is another one of those cards that I think when you give it, people are going to call this mantle worthy because it's its own little piece of art, isn't it? It's absolutely gorgeous. By the way, I think if you look at this, you might see that it would make a great addition to gift packaging as well, because you could create just that little flower and kind of make it almost its own bow. So there you go. We can use this for several different occasions. So let me tell you what you're going to need to create the card. My card here, I used my Your Peach Designer Series paper, but I thought I'd create a very different card. And so I'm going to use the Symbols of Fortune. This is a specialty paper. Can you see that great foil in it? It's got a little kind of calypso coral color there on the back side, but I thought this one would be very pretty. 4 inches by 12 inches. So this paper comes 12 by 12. So guys, you could create 3 cards from just one sheet of your 12 by 12. I'm also going to use a piece of smoky slate, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then my card is a little bit different. This is going to be 5 1/4 by 8 and scored at 4 inches. And we will take this and we're going to adhere that right onto that card base. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and get that done. One less step we'll have to do later. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about how to punch the circles from our designer series paper. You've got 2 options. You can use your layering circle dies, or if you've been with Stampin' Up! For a while, you might still have our circle punches. You're going to need a 2-inch circle punch or a 2-inch circle die. Okay, so to cut or punch on your designer series paper, you're going to start down here in the corner, and I want you to stay as close to the edge as you can. And after you die cut there, you're going to move and you're going to come this way. We're going to just kind of go in a zigzag here. Let me show you what it looks like when it's all punched. So now you can see what I mean. We're just kind of going in between, and that is going to get us 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of our circle. Now, we only need 9, so we are going to have an extra. And guess what? That extra is great for when you make a mistake. So we will have a little 1 extra left over. All right, here are our circles. And I'm going to show you the fold. And guys, it's a very simple one to do. What we're going to do is we're going to fold our circle in half. And then we're going to take it and fold it in half again. So basically we're quartering it. You can come in with a bone folder if you need to, but really with this project, you don't need to. So you can see we have a little cross here on our circle. Now, here's what we're going to do. I have now got it crisscross applesauce, all right? And we're going to take this little rounded edge, and can you see it's going like this? I'm going to fold it up, and it's very little, but we're just going to fold that so that it kind of comes right there on both of those ends. Can you see? I'm going to do it again here on this side. So basically, I'm just not wanting to go past this, the little cross, and it's going to come to a point, and we're only going to do that to 2. See that? Very, very simple to do. Now, let's flip it over, and you see we have a straight line here and a straight line here. We're going to take those 2 straight lines and we're going to line it up with that center line. Can you see it right there? I know it's kind of tough with it being on camera. We just fold it back. We fold there and we fold. Really, it's all about getting those points, and we'll fold there, and that is how you create the petal. And if you want to come in again, like I said, with your bone folder, but that's all there is to it. You want to see that again? Let's do it one more time. Okay, folding our circle in half, and then we fold it in half again so that we get a quarter. And we want to look for that X, and we're going to take this little rounded edge of our circle. I promise you, it is not hard at all. And once you create a few of them, it really is easy to do. And hey, remember how I said at the beginning that you're going to have a couple extras. So if something didn't go right, don't worry about it. But you know what? Don't throw one of them away because we'll be able to reuse it because we're going to show you here in just a minute. So we're going to fold there. We flip it over. Remember, we're going to take this long side and line it up with our cross fold. We'll take the other side. And the other thing I wanted to remind you is this is if you're unsure when it comes to origami, copy paper or junk mail is a great way to practice. So you can just give these a little practice before you get going. All right, let me go ahead and get 8 of these petals folded for you, and then I'm going to show you how to put the flower together. As I finish working on these, I also want to say one other thing. This project is not going to work well if you try to do it with cardstock. Cardstock is just too thick to do this type of manipulation. So you're going to want to make sure you're doing this project with designer series paper. If you've missed any of the measurements for my card today, don't worry. I actually have a free download for you. You can find it at simplysimplestamping.com or check down in the YouTube description. There's a direct link to my download. It's going to have everything that you need right there. You're going to have a photograph. You're going to have the measurements, the supply list, everything that you need so that you can create the card. There's also going to be an attachment to this video. So it's a great handout that you can print out or pin it to Pinterest, or just save it to your computer. And whenever you need to go back and take a look, you're going to have that right there at your fingertips. All right, now that we've folded all of our little circles, let's put our card together. Okay, so there are my 8 petals. Now, remember how I said if you messed one up, you've got the opportunity to use it? Well, here's one that I messed up. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the fold in the quarters, okay? And then I'm going to draw a line, which I drew one here, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the cross line here. This is going to be a good visual for me. Now, this is not going to show, so it doesn't really matter which side you decide to use. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat, and I'm going to go ahead and cover this in adhesive, okay? It's going to be sticky, but that's fine. It's going to give me plenty to work with. There we go. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take a petal and I'm going to line it up directly on that line. Okay, there's one. Now I'm going to come and add another one directly across from it. Now let's add this one here. I think you guys can see how this is going to go together. And we'll put our next one here. Now, and by the way, I'm not pressing any of these down really hard yet because, we may have to move things around and we want to leave that option open to us. You can see that slides. Look at that, right inside. And better give that just a tiny bit of press so it doesn't try to pop loose. And, can you see that one? I'm going to need to move it around just a little bit. And that is fine. It's just easy to work with. And then my last one will slide right in there. When you're happy with it, give everything a good press. There we go. Isn't it gorgeous? Now let's create the card. I am simply going to put adhesive along that circle. We can add that right here to the front of our card. Or remember, I said it would be beautiful on a package too. And let's do a little stamping. So on this card, I said Friends Forever. And of course, it was bright and fun. This is done with the Create with Friends stamp set. This one, I wanted to say Celebrate. I thought this would make a great anniversary card. So let's say Celebrate in Blushing Bride. I know it's Calypso Coral, but I wanted to bring in a little bit different color. Now I do want to show you one quick thing before I stamp. Can you see how I rounded the word friends? But when you look here, it's straight. So let me show you how I did that. So when you put your stamp here on your block, when it's a photopolymer stamp, by the way, I should say this will only work with photopolymer stamps, you can manipulate it. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. And I now have Celebrate rounded. So I wanted you guys to see how to do that. It's fun and it gives me some variety with my stamps. We'll stamp Celebrate right there. Isn't that great? Now let's do something with the center, because sometimes when all these petals come together, it's a little messy right there in the center. I am going to bring in opal rounds. I think these are going to be really, really pretty. So I'm just going to grab one here. You could use your paper piercer and take your pick tool, but if we just add that right there in the center, check it out. Look at that. You don't even see how that kind of got maybe a little bit tight and a little bunched up right there. But now it just looks really pretty. And I did the same thing with this one too. So there we go. Isn't it fun? And I love that it's showing off both sides of the designer series paper. And like I said, it's kind of a little addicting to sit there and do that wonderful paper folding. Nice and relaxing technique. Thank you all so much for joining me today. If you loved today's video, I'd love a thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you very much for that. And if you haven't subscribed, take a minute to click that great big red subscribe button. We share twice a week here on the channel. We'd love to have you join us. Make it a great day, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye.